Hi, hello, and welcome back to a podcast where I talk about going from corporate drone to corporate dropout and everything in between when it comes to being a fitness coach, content creator, and gaming thing. I don't know. You know it, you love it. Welcome back to Chaos and Fuckery. And today is a business, talk about life, talk about things that I am involved in type episode. And I am also supposed to be giving a Kaizen challenge update, but I'll be honest with y'all. Everything in my life in the last 6 months has changed. For the most part. Not everything. I say everything is a just interesting perspective, but it feels like I'm starting over in the middle of the year right now. And I'm still married, I still live in the same house, but I don't want anything to be the same. And I was totally gonna do a completely different episode, but I feel the deep desire to talk about this because as an adult, I was diagnosed with ADHD and I've done a lot of research and have my suspicions that I also might be an autistic adult that was missed as a child. And that took an unreal toll on me when I was starting to run my business, on me when I started to hire business mentors, on me as a human being. When I was in high school and my routine was basically set for me, it was still pretty obvious that I had, some mental shenanigans. I wasn't normal. I have never been a normal kid a day in my life. But when I was in high school, it was easier to control because I went to school from 8 to whatever every day. And then I went to dance from, 4 to 9 o'clock at night. If I had homework that I didn't try to speed rush while I was still in class, I would do my homework, or I did it like skipping class at the studio, and then I would shower and go to bed. That was my routine for 90% of my life. Every, hard academic year I remember, that was my routine. And then college hit, where I struggled to find a routine to do anything, to, eat, to work out, to go to class, to study. There was a whole new level of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing that I hadn't experienced before. And unfortunate for me, I didn't really even figure out how to study because I didn't have to in high school until my senior year. I somehow relied purely on professors that use their old tests. And I'm saying this now as someone who graduated, and I say graduated, but I barely did that. As an engineer, but I am doing fantastic. So yes, grades aren't everything, but the point being is not being diagnosed and not being able to learn those routines as a kid royally fucked me when I got to college. And I had really no idea why. And it also kind of fucked me in my first, adult life experiences when it comes to my first job and things that I was never really exposed to because I didn't have to be when I was a kid were now eating me, not eating me, but destroying me as an adult. And that led to a lot of issues. I wouldn't say I was a functional alcoholic. Let's be real. I used substances and early in my business, I saw some of that coming back in despite the therapy work I had done post, realizing that. And I wasn't happy with that. I saw, I was constantly surrounded in spaces, both in engineering and, the people in my life that only wanted to get fucked up. And as I'm almost 30, I don't want to be around those people anymore. And unfortunate for me, some of those people are my own family members. I can't be around people like that anymore. It is just not in me. And it's not the types of people that I want to help me grow a business. And I had to really kind of sit down with my business, see if, ADHD medication works for me. Because, mind you, I still haven't found the adult routine that works. Thankfully, I did find a company that allowed me to be a lot of chaos and a lot of fuckery and still succeed. Because I am not, people talk about time blindness, right? As a business owner, time blindness can make or break you. As an employee, blindness sometimes benefits them, because I was never the type of time blind that was always late to things, because I had it drilled in my head that if you're 10 minutes early, you're still late. I will never be late a day in my life because I panic at the thought of being late. That was never my time blindness. You know what time blindness I do have, though? Getting really into a task and forgetting to stop for several hours. The company I work for has gotten, 12 to 15 hour days out of me purely because I knew something needed to get done and I got it done. I am great in a time crunch when there is a deadline that I am responsible to. But you know what I'm not good at? Setting my own schedule. Something I have learned even as an engineer is if I know mentally in my head the date is arbitrary, something I just made up, there's no one holding me to it, I won't do it. Until I am so desperate that I need to do it because someone else is asking for it, I probably won't do it. I will sit and, procrastinate it for hours. And it was the same way back when I was in high school, with my online schooling and things like that. I didn't do things on a regular rhythm. I would time crunch it all into one weekend and say, yeah, I'm done. Stop talking to me now. And I'm realizing that as a business owner, I can both utilize that and it can destroy me, because I can, batch film. I can get a month's worth of content done in about 2 days. However, if don't do that and I don't continue to batch film and get things edited and out on time, I will go 2 months and not post a single thing. And that's where we're at right now. In the last 6 months, my entire routine that I thought I had, the routine I had curated so perfectly, where I got up and, I time blocked my entire day. Yeah, that all went to shit when my husband started traveling for work and I didn't know what days he was going to be home and what days he wasn't. Being at the mercy of somebody else's schedule to be able to spend time with your spouse. And yes, I know this is pretty normal, especially for those military spouses out there. This is new to me as a spouse. This is not something I'm used to. Like, the worst we ever had until recently was, I might be a couple hours late. Fine. Gives me a couple extra hours to work on stuff. Not, I'm not going to be home till tomorrow and I just found out right now. That kind of stuff has thrown me for a loop. As someone who doesn't like change and likes to be very routine and regimented, the chaos I have lived in, and I say the last 6 months, but it's really been the last year, because he started traveling for the first time about a year ago, almost to the date. And, my weekends would be full of going to go-kart racing with him. So I would try to cram everything into the week. I felt like I was going insane. And the reality is, I have been surviving on fucking fumes. And building a small business in this climate right now is a fucking disaster. On top of that, I get a text message last night from my mentoring group that they're completely changing the structure of the program I signed up for. And they want me to, go over to this other program, but this other program is a full cash down offer and not a weekly payment like I was doing before. On top of that, this new program, I'm repaying for shit I've already paid for twice over at this point. And I was so unbelievably frustrated, because what I signed up for with that mentoring program was the access to the people that could tailor my program. I don't want the same fluffy bullshit that everybody talks about. I needed the tailoring. I needed the, hey, I'm gonna walk in this and tell you, fuck you to using Facebook as a main content or lead generation source. I'm not doing it, because fuck Facebook. Also, fuck Instagram. I'm not doing it. And unfortunate for me, fitness does better on places like Instagram. However, gaming does better on places like TikTok. So if I want to go where my clients are, TikTok and Twitch are better places for me. Also, as just a consumer, fuck Facebook and Instagram. YouTube and TikTok are where it's at. And as a business owner, figuring out what content I enjoy creating that will also bring me, monetization on my social media platforms, and constantly having people tell me that I just need a new system, not an editor, is not a solution to someone who actually likes creating content. I like creating long form content. I just spend a lot of time editing, not because my edits are complicated, but because I can't focus on them to save my goddamn life. That's the thing, is I love streaming, and I love creating gaming content, and I love creating fitness gaming content, but it takes every ounce of my energy to get those videos done. And if I don't already have like a backlog, right? I was supposed to launch like officially with a long form video, my new gaming channel. But the problem is, I haven't streamed, and I haven't even set up my fucking Switch to stream the things that I was planning on streaming. So that probably will get pushed off another month or so, but I foresee that, similar to my cosplay content, growing a lot faster when it's solely focused on one kind of concept. And I'm not mixing gaming and fitness all on one channel. I want to scream. I'm running on fumes. I feel like I'm not sleeping. Like, I feel like I'm not sleeping, but like I am, but I'm not, because I'm not sleeping well. And it's just, why is this so hard? I see so many people, you know, in the fitness space, in my mentoring space, like, do absolutely fantastic. They get viral fucking videos, but they're slop. They're read the caption because I put this random stupid thing on a B-roll videos that don't work on TikTok or YouTube, really, because you only have like 100 characters for a fucking short caption, and no one reads captions on TikTok. I'm sorry. Like, I very rarely do I read a caption on TikTok, and I am, you know, a target audience, if you will, for TikTok. I hate content like that. But that is what all of these people in the space are like, do this to go viral and get more leads and blah, blah, blah. Help me not have to create fucking slop content and still be able to run my business. That's what I wanted out of fucking mentoring. And then they go and change everything. And yeah, ultimately it's saving me money because I'm not paying the weekly fee anymore, and it's not, you know, but I'm losing access. And the things that like are gained aren't things that I can actually attend and participate in. Because I can't, you know, until I get my truck and trailer that I'm really working for right now, I can't just pick up and end up in a random fucking state without, you know, considerations for, is my husband going to be home to watch the cats? Do I need a pet sitter for the cats and the rabbit? Like, it's, how do these people who are building their businesses and working a 9-to-5 in these mentoring groups actually fucking do it? And yes, it is a very privileged place to be able to say, hey, I'm here on the internet trying to build my business while also making 6 figures in the background. I understand that. I understand. I am in a very privileged position right now. But God fucking damn it. Why is it so hard? And I'm not saying it's like a hard I don't want to do, but, you know, everyone complains about visibility on Twitch. And yeah, visibility on Twitch fucking sucks. And everything is reliant on collaboration, but I am also antisocial, and I don't have time to sit in people's Twitch chats all day and actually be active. I mean, I do lurk in people's chats pretty much all day. There is someone up on one of my screens, but I can't be active. And now that I've changed my brand to Fit-ish Gamer, and someone said it sounded like Fetish Gamer, I am nervous to chat in people's chats because it looks crazy. Fit-ish is very common in the fitness space, but yeah, it does kind of look like fetish. And I didn't think that through when I rebranded. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Fitish, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyways, I'm supposed to be updating y'all on this, but I can't even focus on this because I don't know what I put down as my goals that I wanted. Yeah, that all fucking changed in about 2 minutes. I have completely redone my goals that I started this year with, which means I have, you know, financially, I didn't really change that much. I changed what I'm going to do with that money, but like I still want a certain amount of money and a certain amount of debt paid off and things like that. I now have to do that in 5 months instead of 6 or 12. Yes, I did it to myself, but what is even doable at this point? Is it realistic to expect to, you know, get to a point that I can maybe step down to part-time or, you know, make enough as a creator, as a coach, to be able to live the life I actually want to, where I'm not stuck in a house, but I don't have to give up my pets, and I don't have to be a slave to the corporate fucking nonsense. Because God, am I tired of hearing, oh, you're not working hard enough, because we want to fill our fucking pockets with, you know, buttloads of cash at your expense. I loathe working in corporate America, but I recognize I'm in a privileged place to even be where I'm at right now. I just wish it wasn't so maddening, because in every, business book I've ever read, the mentoring group, different people were talking about different things. Even the Kaizen Challenge aligns with this. There are 4 pillars to life. You need to focus on your relationships. You need to focus on your business. You need to focus on you, your physical, whatever that means. And you need to focus on your spiritual, whatever that means to you. And by God, how the fuck do you do all of that? And, still sleep and not be on a manic fucking rundown of stimulants. I just don't get it. And I would love to come on here and say, yeah, I'm seeing all this big success and I hit 1,000 on YouTube or whatever the fuck I would like to say. I am not doing that currently, obviously. And I am wondering if this is going to be my breaking point. Because I am so fucking tired of the same old. And I'm tired of, being complacent. I'm very tired of being complacent, because not only is complacency kind of, merging into more than just, my day job and my day-to-day life. It is becoming a monster that I need to put back in the fucking cage. I'm so tired of sitting around and doing fucking nothing. I'm angry that I'm in a place where I can't just go buy a fucking plane ticket to go wherever the fuck I need to go for the week. And I don't mean that because, I'm angry I have to hire a pet sitter. I want to take my cats with me. If I have to drive it, I'll have to drive it, depending on how long I'm going. But, I'm angry that I'm, debating, do I go to California to do something I've always wanted to fucking do because of the money. I don't want that to be a thing anymore. I genuinely just want to be successful. And yeah, a lot of that's on me and not doing the fucking work. But I'm here. I'm now doing the fucking work. But is that ever going to be enough? Because I was looking at my TikTok studio statistics to see, what content should I remake or what content should I reshare or whatever to, get back on this horse. My top performing videos are from over a year ago. When it comes to new followers, but also I think when it comes to new views too. They are over a year old. So did I just have it? I was on the cusp of greatness and goldness a little over a year ago? And I just let it go? And ironically enough, I'm realizing as I'm talking about this, those posts were from right after I started my mentoring group. Those posts are from right after I did a little 30-day challenge with myself where I ran 3 fucking channels and I posted daily on all of them. And I amassed, between those 3 channels, hundreds of new subscribers and thousands of views. Maybe even close to 100,000 between the 3 channels. Because I know I had a couple, semi-viral moments on my cosplay channel. So I know that when I really put my mind to something, I can fucking make it happen. I ran 3 channels where I posted daily on all 3 for 30 days. And then I went to this thing called Coaching Con and I had an amazing time and I was enlightened and I heard from, speakers and I was around other coaches that make 100,000 months, not just 10,000 months, 100,000 months and, around multimillionaires. And, that was the kind of room I wanted to be in. I don't often do in-person events. And then literally my best performing video to date was shortly after I signed up to be in the mentoring program that I'm now getting removed from. That I could have had, an invite to the new version of it. I'm mad now that I realized that. I was on the cusp of fucking gold and I just need to get back to it. I need to create content I enjoy creating again. And I need to create life I enjoy existing in again. Because, only enjoying life when my husband is home when he's traveling is not an option anymore. And this was not the plan for this episode. But this podcast is called Chaos and Fuckery. I've been, living on a lot of fuckery and, my mentoring group is known for saying no motherfuckers, don't be a motherfucker and be honest with yourself, live that truth. And they're known, also for, saying fuck a lot, but I would love to say I've been a motherfucker. And in some ways I have, but in other ways I've just been surviving. And I called a spade when I was talking to one of the guys that was trying to transition me to this new program or whatever last night. And I was like, Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of excuses and a bunch of bullshit, and it sounds like I'm being a motherfucker, but I am literally surviving on fumes right now, and I don't want to hear your you need these systems bullshit. I don't need those things. I need more time in the fucking day. I need to not have a work schedule that constantly changes my path. I need to go back to the gym. I need to stop living in my house. I need to go do things in life and, go work from a theme park for a day. It's hot as balls right now, so I don't know that that's the right option, but you know what I mean. Go work from a pool. Go work from, I kind of want to, do a challenge for a YouTube video where, I live in my gym for the day. Because I do have I have a 24-hour pass to my gym. I feel like I would get kicked out of my gym if I did that though. Anyways, that actually kind of brings me to what Tuesday's episode is going to be about. Well, you've probably already heard this episode in the way I'm recording it. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I am tired, guys. I promise I will get back to the Kaizen stuff when I get through all of the recording, because on the day that I'm recording this, my husband is heading out once again tonight, and I probably will have one of those gremlin nights where I don't sleep that I had recently, because I need to get shit done and I need to stop being a motherfucker. And if that means less sleep on the nights that he's not here, that means less sleep on the nights that he's not here. My house is clean relatively. I'm waiting for my vacuums to charge, so I don't have a ton of shit I need to do. Life will continue. Life will keep moving, whether I make changes or not. If I really want to be successful in this, if I really want to be able to, go to the places my husband's at if I need to or want to, or go to random places in the country with my cats and my rabbit and, turn this whole house into a business place where it's all content and, make the changes I want to make to this house to not feel so bleh about it. I need to get my head out of my own ass. I need to, continue to learn. I need to do what needs to be done. And I haven't been doing that. It's been hard, and I'm frustrated and mad at myself and mad at the universe and mad at, my money situation right now. I am mad at everything. And part of that anger is fueling me. I'm not gonna lie, forced anger doesn't work. But actually being physically angry at myself has helped fuel some changes in my life that I really needed to do. There was some catalysts at the end of last year that really lit my fire, and even more at the beginning of this year, that I will do just about anything to make this journey work and to have the life that I don't feel so constrained by. I'm just exhausted, guys. I don't know where we'll be in December, but I hope I'm coming back to this podcast in December. Now, I'm going to keep doing episodes, but I think you know what I mean. When I'm doing my yearly recap and planning for 2026, I genuinely hope that these goals that are listed on the whiteboard right behind me are more than exceeded, because I put in the work, I put in the time, I got my editor, I just live in it. I get to live in some celebration. And that's what these babies have been telling me is going to happen. I have to be aware of my own issues, and a lot of them have been very true. And yes, if I know, tarot isn't future telling, but, it can help guide things for sure when you're in tune and, grounded in life and sun. And that's where I'm at, guys. So I appreciate you for being here with my little rant about small business. I was planning on talking about this administration's attack on small business or planning for busy season, but I just can't talk about life as a small business owner when I feel just angry at being a small business. I want to nuke my whole life right now, guys. And I want to get rid of all of my clothes. I want to get rid of all of my furniture. I want to nuke my business and start over. I go through this phase every 3 years. I haven't found that. I go through it once a year with fucking work, where I change jobs literally every year and a half. But it's just getting worse as time, the need to nuke things is getting bigger and bigger in shorter time frames, because I can't find the place that I'm not complacent, but I'm happy in continuing to improve in that world. And I don't think I will find that until everything in my life is settled. I have no more scores to settle, if you will. And maybe this is a common entrepreneurship journey where you feel like you're about to fail and then you hit greatness. I don't know. I don't know. But I appreciate y'all for being here for my little rant. And we will talk about, the attack on small business and what it's like in this day and age to try and be a small business owner in the future, and more Kaizen challenge updates and how things are progressing for goals and things like that. Because yes, this is intended to cover all of the chaos and fuckery that is going from corporate drone to corporate dropout. And this little rant that I was on is a part of it. So thank you. If you have similar experiences, please feel free to commiserate in the comments below, or just put that energy in the comments below and leave it here so that you can walk away and become a better small business owner, or a better business owner if you're not small anymore. It is a hard road out there, and community is important even for an introvert. So I appreciate you for being here. If you want to listen to future episodes, whether they be fitness, gaming, or small business related, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And I'm going to stop with the fuckery and continue to enjoy the chaos.